Do, 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 do.
Greetings, fandom. My name is Andre, and for this video, I would like to talk to you about a sort of dying regular way of communication. Um, Something that over the past few years, or this past half of the decade, has been redefined and been changed for so much time to come. I mean, this used to be a way of getting connected with your friends while having to be able to show their faces and all of that. Video calling was something that was more of a pretty much regular thing back when I was younger, before my teenage years. Like I remember doing more of it on Skype, which was uh, which was actually a very nice thing to do, and I was able to be able to be vocal with my friends, be able to communicate with them in a more authentic way, so to speak, because I never really get to fully express myself when it's just sending messages in a form of writing or typing, should I say. I mean, uh, I think it's very much agreeable that uh your audience can definitely understand you more if if they can hear you. Okay, like if you can express yourself uh in a way that they would definitely understand your point by stressing out all of the things that you really need to say, just like right now. but but all that aside, I've always believed that video calling was a very nice way to communicate, and it was a much better way to do so than having to just write it on messages. I mean, I understand now that if there are some people in this generation that would very much prefer the use of text messages instead of actually calling them, because there are those people who would definitely be startled or or be surprised or be intimidated whenever they receive a call, like especially if it's from their friend. I mean, especially that, like, right now, because text messages are more of a thing than calls, may it be audio calls or video calls. Like, because of because of that suspense that's been added there. Like whenever it's their friends calling them, it gives you that feeling that they want to say something important to them. Like, there's something that they really need to express. There's something that they really need to stress out, in order to say something like that very much properly. Uh, but then yeah, years have passed and those times have changed, and then it's become the text messages that became more of the commodity. But then I'm one of those very few people who would very much prefer to call my friends other than text them. I mean, yeah, you can call me a boomer for that one, but you know, you guys would definitely agree that it's definitely the more effective way to communicate. And actually, until now, I still do it. Like, whenever we have the time and the chance to, I would often get some video calls, like join video calls, like the group ones, group video calls with my friends who are active on Discord. Shout outs to you. And uh, with those times that I've been video calling them, uh I felt like there's still that form of socializing, even though there's this social distancing thing that's been going on for way too long. I mean, this pandemic has really taken a toll for us, and yeah, those were the one of the things that I needed to mention, that that video calling should be more of a thing again. But sadly, it isn't, because there are those people who have changed who have changed the rules, the the guidelines, the things you need to do in order to video call them. Like one of the common things in order to be able to video call them is that uh, you should be somehow related in some way in order to be able to talk to them in that sort of manner. Like you have to be in some sort of relationship with them. I mean, this is the it thing now, isn't it? Like it always has to be like two people who are together in a relationship, and even though they're far apart from each other, they still manage to get in touch with each other through video calls and all that. Like it's become that rule. Like whenever I try to video call some of my female friends, almost all of the time they're going to reject it. And I'm here being like, why? Do you not have enough data to call me? Do you not have internet to do that or something? And they're gonna bring up this pathetic excuse to not be able to video call me. But then I went like, yeah, I now understand. It's something that shouldn't really be a thing. Like whenever I try to like video call them, they would always reject that because I'm not related to them in some sort of way. And I've always believed that audio calling or video calling is something that's really been the more effective way to communicate, and that's something that the people in this current generation need to relearn. Like this is why I refer to it as a dying custom. Like it's no longer a commodity. Like it only applies to a select few people who are somehow related to each other. And here's where it gets worse. Like there are those people who who tend to who tend to use video calling for those very unwanted purposes. Like there are those guys or whichever gender that is that they wherein they open like they turn on the camera and to just to show like the more explicit part of themselves, and then the worst what makes it worse is that there are those people who would also turn on their cameras, get engaged in video calls just for them to like for them to show their thingies, you know, like what's like below their belt. Like they would flex that to other people in forms of video calls, and that is something that video calls were definitely not made for. Okay, like sure, there's a camera right in front of you, and you do that to more properly communicate with your friends. Like sure, communication is a good thing, but that is not the way how you do it. That is not the way how it's done, and maybe the old way of doing video calls should be more of a thing again. I mean, I'm not really sure if it should be considered the old way, because like there's some who I've really been able to video call with over the past few months, and at this point I really owe my social life to them, because they're the only ones that have been keeping me that have kept me going throughout this pandemic. I mean, there are some of us who would really prefer to stay at home, and you know, uh, and that kind of gives you the deprivation of being able to communicate properly with others. Unless you're one of those reckless motherfuckers who would really just get out just to socialize with your friends, not wearing masks, no health protocols and and all that other shit. Like you want to do that, fine, but I'm not getting my ass infected. COVID-19 can go to hell. I'm staying here until any of the vaccines are available. I'll be willing to get shot. I'll be willing to have a shot on that one, and probably be more able to communicate with my friends in a much better way. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say at this point, and I hope all of you guys would try to keep in touch as much as you could, but do it in a more appropriate way.